scholars be sucking up to men? And what I mean is they add and they take away from the word and they just get away with it. Like in the Brit Hadashah, for example, the renewed covenant, I want a clean renewed covenant, meaning whatever Yeshua says goes, but I don't want anyone adding to what he says or taking away from it. And according to Deuteronomy 18, when Yahweh said, I will send a prophet like Moses, he gave a specific job to us as the house of Israel to listen to this prophet. And the problem is, a lot of us either aren't, and then we have these scholars in the Bible that are adding stuff in. For example, there's the story of the adulterous woman. Did you know that that story was never part of the New Testament canon? And this may be new to some of you may already know this, but if you read John chapter 7 and verse 52 and skip to John 8 and verse 12, it's all one story, it's all one dialogue, it's all one conversation. The story of the adulterous woman essentially disrupts, or I would say interrupts, either one, the ebb and flow of that story, where Yeshua is proclaiming himself to be the light of the world. He's proclaiming himself to be greater than man. He's proclaiming himself to be divine. And I think that there's a purposeful disruption there. You know, these scholars, they intend evil, some of them, and I don't know why. And this doesn't undermine the credit of the New Testament itself, but it can undermine the credit of those trying to argue for it. Now, there are logical fallacies to look out for, such as, well, if that was added in later on, that means the entire New Testament is a forgery, right? That is a bad faith argument. Like, we cannot entertain that. However, let me just read this to you to see if it makes sense. So, Yeshua here is in the temple, obviously, and he's challenging the Pharisees. And at the end of chapter 7, it says in verse 47, Then the Pharisees answered them, Are you also deceived? Have any of the rulers of the Pharisees believed in him? But this crowd that does not know the law is accursed. Nicodemus, he who came to Jesus by night, being one of them, said to them, Does our law judge a man before it hears him and knows what he is doing? They answered and said to him, Are you also from Galilee? Search and look, for no prophet has arisen out of Galilee. In verse 12 of chapter 8 it says, Then Yeshua Jesus spoke to them again, saying, I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but have the light of life. The Pharisees therefore said to him, You bear witness of yourself, your witness is not true. And then of course Jesus then goes on to say, I bear witness of myself, my Father also bears witness of me, and because there are two witnesses, that's enough according to the law. Now, you can literally see my point here. This thing was added in. It was not there. I do imagine, however, that the way Jesus dealt with this adulterous woman is the way that he would have dealt with any adulterous woman if there was an actual story about that. Anyways, be blessed.